Welcome to the Hidden Why Podcast, episode 1094. This is my interview with Cru von Holtzendorff-Fehling In, and we're discussing the key to unlocking abundance. Enjoy. Hello, Cru. Welcome to the Hidden Why Podcast. Great to have you here with me today.
Hi, Lee. Thank you for having me on the show.
We just had loads of fun with your surname there, which for the audience, you give it a crack. Cru von Holtzendorff-Fehling.
Well, you did great, I think.
Yeah, practice makes perfect, huh? Welcome to the show. Whereabouts are you in the world?
I am right now in Florida.
In Florida.
Orlando. Winter
Okay.
Park, to be precise. Yes, it's very nice and warm. It's a lovely day today. It's Thanksgiving and very calm. And everybody home celebrating.
And what do you do? So you got family around there? I'm dragging you away from your family on Thanksgiving?
No, actually, it's just me, my husband, and the dog right now. Our kids are in the world somewhere. And the rest of the family is in Germany. So we don't have that whole American get-together thing because we don't have any family here.
All right. Okay. Yeah, it's quite celebrated. I'd love to have a Thanksgiving over there someday. I just went to America, actually, for my first visit over to California. So
that's nice too. Yeah, I just got back from Boulder. We were on a conference there, a beautiful conference, all about biohacking. And then we were in Las Vegas before that with Lila Quantum Tech. So it's been a busy fall.
Yeah, you got lots going on, you and your husband, right?
Yes.
And so you really focus on healing and love and energy and coaching others to find their, I don't know if you call it the inner self or true self or...
Yes, the true self. Like,
the true self?
So maybe we need to distinguish between what is that actually, the true self. So the true self is basically what comes into this incarnation and is completely untouched by any kind of programming or conditioning from the society or the parents or whatever surrounds you. Like when we grow up, we create a personality based on the things that we experience with our parents, based on the things that we think is expected of us, or that even is very much communicated and conditioned into us. So often our personality doesn't have so much to do with who we really are. And that creates a longing in most humans and this sense of that there is something else, but we don't quite know what it is and how to get there because we're so identified with the personality that we're creating that we don't really know what is it that feels like it's missing. And so my job is really to identify what in your life is created from your personality. What is the personality? What is your true qualities? And where are those hidden? And how can we unfold them? And because the sense that we get from being really who we are rather than adjusting to these conditionings is like contentment and stability, safety, all the things, trust, all the things that humans miss a lot. So, I mean, we know we live in a world that is full of substances in any way, let it be social media or let it be pharmaceuticals or weed or whatever, all sorts of things that help humans to cope with that emptiness that stays or fills life when we only identify with our personality and when we don't identify with what is behind all that. And since we don't grow up, our parents asking us, hey, who are you? What did you bring to the world? What can you teach me? Let's work on your qualities. I had that luck to have that kind of mother that did this with me. I was born with the ability to see aura and energy fields and see basically the world in an energetic way, not only in a physical way. And because my mom knew even though she didn't see the world like this, she knew that what I was experiencing wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
And didn't tell me, oh, this is just fantasy. Like, let that kid just play around with this and then come back to reality. No, she really fostered it. So I didn't have to forget this. I think lots of children actually have this ability.
Yeah.
But then they, lose it because their parents tell them it's not true, or it's kind of, like just fantasy. And so they give up this experience of a more wholer world, or more expanded view into this creation. And so when that happens, and we lose a very, very important part of ourselves. Yes.
Sorry, slight interruption there, but we're back on.
Yeah.
So talk to me about this energy field that you talk about, and how do we understand that better?
So if you think of creation, in the beginning, there was only information. So everything, actually, every single thing that exists is based on information. So it's very simple, ones and zeros. And this information started to manifest. So every information comes in waves. Maybe we need to explain that also. So everything is waves. Like, we have this we know this in many physical or in many physics context, and we know that our phones can communicate with one another, and that's all waves. Like, we knew already that it was waves when they came through the cable into our TV, and that turns it into a picture. And so in the beginning, there's only information. Then this information has a wavelength, and that wavelength leads to manifestation, which leads to the smallest parts of matter are quants. So everything is quantum field. Basically, when two quants are in resonance to one another, we have a field. It's like two atoms being in resonance with one another. There's a field. So if we think of all creation, quants are so small we cannot see them with our eyes. But they are everywhere. Every single existing thing is based on quantum physics. We all heard about that. It's a big thing that lots of physics have already cracked their heads open over it. But in the end, it's a very simple thing. We understand that when two things are in resonance to one another, they create a field. We call that an energy field. Like, it's also, maybe we call it a space. You can call it whatever you want, but that is what we call energy in the energy world. So when I manipulate or heal or work with energy fields, like I close my eyes, I get in resonance with this, like not with this, what I see with these eyes, with the basically other receptors that all of us have. It's just that they're not trained. Like, we train.
So do you close your eyes to do that? Like, do you, like a meditation sort of session?
Yeah, like I close my eyes. I'm sure there's a lot of people that can do that, and I can see it with open eyes too. But then when I have my eyes open, I'm also very, what do you call that in English? Like interrupted by whatever is around me. Like, I see the screen, I see the chair that the screen sits on, so many things. And when I close my eyes, I can totally, wholly be in the other space, and I shut this world off. And then it's all about just reading your energy field and understanding what is missing, where did you put all your gifts, and where is all the interruptions, and where do they need to be distributed so they can be available to you. And so, like, every one of us is actually an abundant, whole, fully functioning divine being. It's just that we have forgotten how to access that. We don't even remember that we are those whole beings. We think disease is normal. Like, we expect age to come and wreck us down. Like, all these things don't have to be like that. Like, there's no reason for ourselves not to work in the way they have done the first 20 years of your life, which is reproducing all the way to the end when they reproduce, which cells do all the time. Every 7 years, you have a new body. So we expect all these things to be true, all these illusion of age and dying and things like that. I mean, we can take this thing all the way, but we don't have to go too crazy about it. But in general, like, what's good for us to remember is that we are not limited beings, that we're only accessing such a small part of our consciousness. If we were able to expand our consciousness, we would have so much more control over matter. It's because consciousness controls energy fields, and we are mostly energy fields because we are made from quants, and quants are in constant resonance to one another. So there's space in between, and that is what we call energy. So these energy fields you can work with the more your consciousness is expanded. And that's why we work. That's what we have managed to create with the company Lila Quantum Tech, is create really, really strong quantum fields, and that inspire our fields the whole time to go back to their original state. Meaning, Blueprint is a body that is fully functioning. Yeah. And then also, of course, in resonance with a soul that is fully functioning, aura that is fully functioning, because we're not just physical matter. We have also an aura, and we have energy centers and energy lines and all sorts of things in our body. And if they all work with one another really effectively, then there's no need for us to feel deficit, to feel disease, to feel flawed, to feel inadequate, inappropriate, anxiety, depression, or any of these things. Because if the machine is working well, then there is no need for all of these things. These things come from the loss of knowing that we have all of that can work together and create a really beautiful and abundant life. That's just missing in the world.
It seems like that maybe a lot of people are in that space where we've had this, disconnection from who we are and this personality that you talk about, and that's just through living life and an upbringing and a culture that surrounds us and our environment that, teaches us to believe and think and see the world in a particular way. So what you're suggesting is to come back within and find this natural energy to help us overcome that personality that's maybe taking us away from who we are and what potential there is for us to achieve. Does that sound about right in summary?
Yeah, that's a very good summary.
Tell us, Lila Quantum Tech, what's that company all about? Just briefly, so you touched on it.
Yeah, this is basically what we've managed to do, is create something that lots of physics have tried to create, and maybe cannot manage sometimes because they come only from one side. So what we have managed to bring everybody to the table, not just people that have studied physics and are deep in the quantum realm, like also people that understand energy fields and frequency and all of that, and manage to create a field that is so pure in itself that it inspires our physical reality plus also the energetic reality immediately to go back to its original state. So meaning, like, there's actually a whole lot of scientific research we have done, so many studies, 59 plus, sham controlled and double blind and God knows what, different parts of the world, studies all over the place to prove the effect of a very highly concentrated quantum field. So what we're selling in the company is basically devices that hold this field inside. And when you put your physical body into this, then you will see immediately the changes in your blood and all of that kind of, it immediately harmonizes the
on this,
like so much. Like
I did have Philip on the show back in episode 1074.
Oh, yeah, so you know.
He's
Yes.
your husband, yeah?
Yes.
Now, we discussed that briefly, but that block, is it a big block or is it?
Well, we have different size blocks. We have one for traveling, which is tiny. And then we have the infinity blocks, which are created because if you have two of them, you can make them infinite stronger the more you get used to the field that you are in. So you need two for that. So we have the infinity block, and then we have the grand block, which is like pretty big. And you can fit your whole body in that one. Yeah. Some people even sleep their head in this block at nights, which I admire, because that's a lot of energy that you're putting yourself into. And sleeping in that, and also adding frequencies, that's like a consistent field radiating into your own system, telling you, like, depending on what frequencies you play in, like, it's like if I tell you every day, Lee, that you are stupid, you will eventually believe it. Like if I tell you every day how wonderful you are, you will eventually believe it. You might believe me, the wonderful part, not quite as fast as the other one, because humans always are so extremely receptive to allowing their more minimized self instead of their greater self. But it's all about consistency and information. So if, for instance, you add frequencies like abundance or inner peace into a very strong quantum field, it's a consistent information. Be at peace, it's all okay. Or you are abundant, everything that you need is within you. And then inner abundance reflects outer abundance, because the universe is nothing other than a mirror that has no opinion. What is inside of you, whole and absolutely without question your own truth, is what you project. And that is what you get reflected. That's why it's so important to work with the subconscious mind, because we have such a large part of our consciousness is subconscious. And if we do have all this programming, conditioning, I'm not worthy, I need to try so hard in order to be loved, all of these things, then we project loss and deficit and lack and all of these things. And that's what we get reflected. So basically, our subconscious mind projects completely false information, and then we create a world that is constantly in reaction or reflection to this projection, which is why it's so important to clean that subconscious mind, like to stop the programming, to understand, come back to the information that is not true. That is just something that you started to believe, maybe because someone else didn't recognize you as loving, because maybe your parents didn't know better how to transfer this amazing love into your system, that you felt like you're really worthy and precious, and without having to do anything. It's nobody wants to do this to anybody. I mean, maybe some people want to, but in general, all parents want to give the best to their children. But when they haven't gotten it, how are they supposed to do it for their kids? It's an ever revolving cycle that hopefully at some point somebody breaks and steps up and says, okay, wait a moment. Just because I didn't get that, I can find this in me, and then start to nourish future generations. But in everybody today, no matter whether they're young or old, it doesn't matter, everybody can come back to feeling worthy and precious and whole. It's just a matter of which information do you apply to your subconscious mind, and then what do I project? So if consistently I give into your information field that you are beautiful and whole and abundant and at peace and prosper, and I mean we have so many frequencies, then eventually that will be your projection, and then the world around you will adjust to this projection with the reflection of exactly those things.
Yes. So practical takeaways here for us, because I guess when people listen to this conversation, if they're not in this space and listening to conversations like this a lot, they just go, "Oh, it's too much," But there is science around this energy field, quantum energy, and how information is communicated between everything within us and also the universe. And it's quite true, and you just in general practice, putting in positive information to your subconscious mind certainly can take time if you're really trying to change some hardwired programming. But putting that positive information in, you can almost notice an immediate effect in your attitude towards everything else externally once you start doing that. And I've seen this in practice in other people as well. But what are your practical takeaways that people listening to this show could go, yeah, okay, I'm going to take this on board and I'm going to try some things?
So what is a really powerful thing that changes a lot in your subconscious mind, because that's what we need to change. It's not so much, sometimes it's even the conscious mind. Let's get the conscious mind there first. Because if you have that one already off the tracks and have this negative self-talk, which a lot of people have, I'm so stupid. Here we go. This is so, it comes so easy to us when we make a mistake. Oh, that was so stupid. But why do we have to talk like this? So we can catch all of that at first. So basically do some hygiene, clean out some of those phrases, starting to use your conscious mind to bring balance to the subconscious programming. Then powerful techniques are breath work. So breath work in combination with let's say frequency music, that it has Joy 540 and all sorts of things. There's unconditional love frequencies. There's so many great things out there that are free or within Spotify or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know what sort of music you're talking about with frequencies. Is it like a meditational sort of?
Yeah, if you put it in frequency music, you will find so many things.
Frequency music, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And if you and then they have all of these different hertz things. So there's already that you can do that is very that's more or less free. I mean, you have to have a subscription for Spotify. I think even Spotify is free in some ways. But then a breathwork without music is also great. Just keep identifying the patterns in your life. If you have a situation that reoccurs in your life, look at it. Be very honest. Take a hard look in the mirror. If you have a person in your life that consistently treats you disrespectful or tries to minimize you or put you down, or it could be a boss, it could be a partner, it could be a best friend or whoever. You have to identify that. And then don't leave that with this person. Take it home and look in the mirror and say, where am I like this with myself? That I have such a strong expression in the reflection in the mirror of this, because it's always what you do with you. So identify those things in your life and then start to choose different. Choose to be better with yourself. If you're always just serving to others, please become more selfish. Nourish yourself first before you give to others, because nourishing others from an overflow perspective, that's a healthy forever cycle that will always bring forth life and abundance. Yeah. If you nourish everybody and you don't take care of yourself first, so you're emptying yourself, then you will grow empty and they will eventually not have anything from it, because it doesn't come from an overflow perspective. Best thing is to really take care of your own system. Take a hard look in the mirror. That's my best practical advice. And identify the places in your life where you can be better to yourself. And I'm not asking for fulfilling needs, because this is not about needs. It's about really understanding what is the basic respect, gratitude towards self, care, boundaries. There's so many things. If you can go in there and identify those things, you have a really, really good understanding very fast of why the things are the way how they are in your life. And then you can take these observations into your breath work and move your spine, like do something that is also practical, right? Like we're looking for practical things. Move your spine. The more flexible your spine is, the more flexible will you be in your life, because all this liquor, like this is the liquid that our brain has swim in, that runs all the way down to our, what is that bone down here, like in English, crossbone?
Yeah. Something like that.
That's what we call it in German. That's why I just translated it. But basically down here to up here is where this flows, and the rhythm of that liquor is deciding the health of our organs. Mm-hmm. So if we move the spine a lot, like do all sorts of exercises where we flex the spine, loosen the tension from the muscle that often comes with our sitting jobs, or maybe even we have very strenuous physical jobs that our body is just often becoming very stiff. And if we move the spine, first of all, energetic, we allow much more energy to flow up and down. Also,
pretty important.
Energy systems are along the spine. So everything in your life will get so much better if only you start moving your spine every day for 20 minutes. Everybody has those 20 minutes, like everybody. It's like no matter what, it's only priorities. So,
I think that's why yoga is a great thing to be doing, a few times a week.
Often people shy away from yoga because they have so much fear that they cannot be, that they're not flexible enough, or that they might be too big, or whatever. People have so many insecurities around yoga. So we don't have to take it so far. Yoga is amazing, and if you can get there, of course. But then there's so simple things that you can do every single day that are like in the Kundalini warm-up. And Kundalini yoga has a lot of warm-up that all revolves around the spine that everybody can do, even somebody that is stiff, and even somebody that is maybe overweight, or that has difficulty breathing and holding all these yoga positions that are often take a lot of energy,
can
right?
Be hard. And look, I mean, you got to start where you're comfortable with. I mean, for me, starting yoga years ago, I'm not an expert, but geez, I've come a long way. But what did you call that? Kundalini or something, did you?
Sorry?
Did you say Kundalini yoga or?
Yes. Okay. I don't know if that's very popular in Australia. Actually, my sister is.
The simple move I like is just standing up and just swinging your arms and your body, and just having your arms sort of flop side to side while you're rotating it. It's a great energy builder. You talk about
because
breath work.
What's spine.
Yeah, that's right. What's the breath work involved? What do you do there?
So there's so many kinds of breath work. You've heard all about the most famous one right now is the Wim Hof breathing.
Yeah, that's what I do. I actually started doing it.
Yeah. And that's great. But then there's so many less intense ones that are also so effective. Like, for instance, alternate nostril breathing. It's a very, very powerful, very calm breath work that balances the two brain hemispheres. So, which we all know, when our male and female aspect are in harmony with one another, then everything is better. It's like at home, when wife and husband are good with each other, and everything is good at the home.
Yeah. What did you call that breath work? What was the name?
It's alternate nostril breathing.
Alternate
nostril breathing.
Basically,
you inhale to the left. Nostril, sorry.
I get it. Okay, alternate nostril breathing. Yes, that's the accent.
You inhale. You're inhaling left, exhaling right, inhaling right, exhaling left, inhaling left, exhaling right, inhaling right, exhaling left. So slowly.
Sounds complicated.
It is very complicated.
That's lovely. Well, thank you for sharing. There's a lot of some takeaways there and a lot of thoughts there. I've had a couple of chats recently on the podcast along this topic as well. So for listeners out there, if you're interested in this, jump onto the Hidden Why, subscribe there, and jump into some of these topics because they're pretty interesting. And I do agree. I think we are greater than we appreciate we have, and life can be great. And, I'm certainly not there myself. I've got a lot of blockages and things going on, but constant improvement, it's always about growth.
And it's always a process for every single person on this planet. And it's all about walking the path and not judging and allowing and moving forward in their own pace. And there's no right and wrong. It's just whatever is your path, and wherever you are, just perfect.
100%. Well, I'm going to get up and do some spine movement, and I'll leave you with it. Thanks for you, Cru, for coming on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me.
I better ask before I just let you go, how can people reach out to you? We've got a website there, don't we? CruEssence.com?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yep, okay. I'll put the link in the show notes, guys. Check it out there. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, peace, passion, and purpose. See you soon.
Bye.
Thanks, guys, for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed what you heard. I hope you love what you're hearing. If you like this episode, guys, or any of the episodes that you're listening to here at The Hidden Why, please do me a favor by sharing it. You can share it with your families. You can share it with your loved ones. You can do that by using your favorite social media channels, using the icons on the platform that you're listening to The Hidden Why podcast. Also, guys, if you're a fan of the show, please connect with me. Connect with me at thehiddenwhy.com. I love to hear from you. I love to converse with the people that listen to this show to find out what they enjoy, what they don't enjoy, and perhaps if they have any questions or feedback for the show as well. You can stay up to date with all that I'm releasing here, guys. I do a solo show every Monday, a 3-minute thought every Thursday. I do 2 interviews a week on a Wednesday and a Saturday, and a book review every Friday. You can stay up to date with all that by subscribing to my newsletter at thehiddenwhy.com. Just enter your email address there, and also subscribing to the podcast on the platform that you choose to listen to your podcasts. You can also support the show, guys, by using the Amazon links at thehiddenwhy.com. So if you like books, you can get all the books that I review there, and anything else really that you like to purchase through Amazon. So use that link, it helps support the show. And we've also got a deal with Audible, guys. Audible is a fantastic way to listen to all your favorite books. We've got a deal with them so you can get 2 free books when you subscribe, or subscribe to a 30-day free trial. So check that out again at thehiddenwhy.com. Guys, that's it from me. You know what to do. Go out there, breathe more passion into every single moment. Do everything with greater purpose, and in doing so you will discover your hidden why. This is The Hidden Why. My name is Lee Martinuzzi. Until next time, peace, passion, and purpose. See you soon.